Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into our source material to uncover 10 of history's most baffling artifacts and monuments. We tend to think of history as a completely closed book, right? Like it's just this neat little timeline of events we've completely figured out. But the truth is, the Earth is literally still hiding puzzles that challenge absolutely everything we thought we knew about our past.
So what if ancient civilizations were actually way more advanced than us? I want you to just keep that question in the back of your mind as we go through this explainer. We're going on an active investigation today, looking at hard, physical evidence that makes us seriously question those standard history textbooks.
History's greatest hidden puzzles, the illusion of a solved past. To really make sense of these source materials, we're going to group these mysteries into three overarching themes to understand exactly what they reveal about ancient ingenuity.
Because let's be real, history is definitely not solved. From buried temples crafted by people who really shouldn't have had the tools to build them, to unreadable texts that totally stump modern artificial intelligence, these discoveries prove that human history is full of missing, baffling pages. Let's flip to the first one.
Part 1. Baffling Ancient Technology. Machines before electricity.
2,100 years old. Picture this. It's 1901, and deep in the wreckage of an ancient Greek ship, divers pull up this corroded lump of bronze. At first, nobody knew what to make of it. But when researchers finally scanned it, they discovered the Antikythera Mechanism. And guys, what's truly shocking is its immense complexity compared to its age.
This wasn't just some random hunk of metal. It was literally an ancient analog computer. It featured around 30 intricate bronze gears inside. It could predict solar and lunar eclipses with astonishing accuracy. It tracked the movements of the planets, and it even acted as a calendar to schedule the Olympic Games. All of this existed 2 millennia before we had modern electricity or motors. It really forces us to ask, was ancient Greek civilization miles ahead of what we give them credit for?
Now, let's jump over to ancient Egypt and look at the Ptolemaic temple of Dendera. There is a 2,200-year-old carving here that has everyone deeply divided. Theory 1 points out that the carving looks exactly like a giant modern light bulb, complete with a snake acting as a filament and a lotus flower acting as the base socket. Some researchers suggest this proves Egyptians actually had access to electricity to light their dark tombs. But then, on the other side, Theory 2 states this is purely a religious symbol, showing mythological gods and spiritual energy. We definitely aren't taking sides here, but it perfectly highlights how ancient artifacts can completely defy our modern expectations, depending on how you look at them.
We see a super similar debate with the Saqqara bird, which was discovered in an 1898 excavation of an Egyptian tomb. To a lot of engineers, this doesn't look like your average bird. Theory 1 notes the straight, balanced wings and that vertical tail stabilizer, which are the exact features of an aerodynamic glider. Actually, modern aerodynamic tests show a model of this could realistically catch the wind and glide. Conversely, Theory 2 maintains it's simply a child's wooden toy or a sacred symbol of a holy bird. But whether it's a testament to early flight technology or just a beautiful piece of art, it leaves us utterly fascinated.
Part 2. Cryptic codes and texts. The uncracked languages.
Before we look at the codes we haven't cracked, we've got to talk about a massive victory, the Rosetta Stone. Found by French soldiers near a village in Egypt back in 1799, this incredibly ordinary-looking rock was actually a 2,200-year-old master key. See, for centuries, nobody could read Egyptian hieroglyphics. They could only stare blankly at the pictures on the pyramids. But this stone proved that even the toughest ancient codes can eventually be broken.
So, how did it work? Well, the stone contained the exact same royal decree written in 3 different scripts. Up at the top, hieroglyphics, the sacred script of the tombs. In the middle, Demotic, the everyday script. And at the bottom, ancient Greek. In 1822, this brilliant scholar named Jean-François Champollion had a lightbulb moment. Because scholars could already read ancient Greek, he realized he could use it as a decryption key to finally unlock the hieroglyphics. Just like that, the silent walls of ancient Egypt could speak again.
Sometimes, though, rediscovering ancient texts comes down to pure luck. Picture this. It's 1947. A Bedouin shepherd is wandering the desert looking for a lost sheep. He casually tosses a stone into a cave and hears a smash, breaking pottery. He goes inside to check it out and accidentally uncovers one of the greatest archaeological finds in history, the Dead Sea Scrolls. Stashed inside these clay jars were thousands of incredibly fragile scrolls written in Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek, containing ancient religious secrets, biblical texts, and mysterious rules of an unknown sect. It literally leaves us wondering to this day, who were they hiding these from? Now let's look at a code that hasn't been so lucky. Found in 1908 in Crete, Greece, the Phaistos disc is a total enigma. It's a 4,000-year-old clay disc stamped with completely unknown symbols. Little humans, animals, tools, all arranged in this really tight, spiraling sequence. Despite decades of intense hardcore study, this code remains completely uncracked. Literally no linguist in the world knows what it says. Was it a prayer, a record, some kind of game? We just don't know.
And the mystery only deepens with our next artifact. Discovered in an Italian monastery in 1912, the Voynich Manuscript is a 240-page book carbon dated to the 15th century. It is filled with this looping, elegant handwriting that belongs to no known language on Earth, but it gets weirder. The illustrations show bizarre star charts, women bathing in strange green liquids, and plant species that literally do not exist on this planet. It currently sits locked in a vault at Yale University, and it continues to totally defeat modern AI, expert cryptologists, and codebreakers. It is a true alien in the world of historical documents.
Part 3. Impossible Ancient Monuments, Feats of Lost Engineering.
The timeline here is just absolutely staggering. We always used to think humans settled down, invented farming, and then eventually got around to building monuments. But in 1994, Göbekli Tepe was unearthed in Turkey. This massive complex of carved stone pillars was constructed 11,000 years ago. To put that into perspective, that is a full 1,000 years before human agriculture even began, and a massive 6,000 years before the Egyptian pyramids were built.
Göbekli Tepe completely flips our understanding of history on its head. Think about it. These hunter-gatherers without wheels or metal tools somehow managed to carve and erect 16-foot, multi-ton T-shaped pillars decorated with these intricate animal carvings. It strongly implies that the human desire to worship, to gather, and to build massive sacred sites actually came first, and farming was invented later just to feed the people working on these incredible temples.
Speaking of moving massive stones, just imagine dragging a rock for 250 kilometers, because that is exactly how far ancient humans dragged some of the stones to build Stonehenge in England, around 5,000 years ago. And these weren't little pebbles, these were bluestones weighing up to 4 tons, brought all the way from the hills of Wales, while the larger sarsen stones weighed up to 40 tons. How on earth they transported these monolithic stones across rivers and valleys without modern machinery remains a massive logistical puzzle.
But they didn't just drag them all that way to drop them in a random circle. Stonehenge wasn't just a monument, it was a massive precision-aligned solar calendar. The stones are positioned perfectly so that on the summer and winter solstices, the sun aligns flawlessly with the very center of the monument. It brilliantly illustrates that 5,000 years ago, these people possessed a seriously deep, advanced understanding of astronomy, mathematics, and the cosmos.
Our final monument is an absolute underground marvel. In 1974, a group of Chinese farmers were just trying to dig a water well when they accidentally broke into the tomb of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang. What they uncovered was the Terracotta army. We are talking about thousands of life-sized clay soldiers, horses, and chariots entirely buried underground. And the most mind-blowing part, every single soldier has a completely unique, individualized face. No two are exactly alike. The sheer scale of industrial organization and artistic skill required to build this secret army over 2,000 years ago is almost impossible to comprehend.
Part 4, the unfinished historical puzzle, what we still don't know.
So, what's the crucial takeaway from all these sources? It's this: ancient humans were not primitive. From the precision of the Antikythera gears, to the astronomical alignment of Stonehenge, to the staggering age of Göbekli Tepe, our ancestors were remarkably brilliant. They possessed this advanced ingenuity, complex logistics, and deep knowledge that, in a lot of ways, we are only just beginning to rediscover today.
I want to leave you with this final thought. We've seen how a single discovery, like a stone found by French soldiers or a cave accidentally found by a shepherd, can completely rewrite our understanding of the past. So if human history is a giant puzzle, how many pieces are we still missing? What else is buried under the sand, hidden away in a forgotten monastery, or resting at the bottom of the ocean, just waiting to completely change history all over again? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning and keep learning.